I
No,
found
but it would be
we found
interesting. It
Q.
would be interesting if you got like front row at the rallies or something.
It's like the Chase Sapphire Lounge.
Yes.
Yes.
You roll up with the shoes and you do get VIP seating.
Presidential treatment. Yeah. You show up to the rally.
Here's what I'll say about it. Episode 75. Welcome,
75.
everybody.
Good to see you again.
Good to see you, my friend.
Feeling any better?
No, not at all.
Okay. Talk about it. You look
Okay.
good though.
I
Shaped
appreciate
up.
that. Yeah, I got a haircut today.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we skipped an episode last week.
We did.
Yeah, I had surgery
Yeah.
in my mouth.
Okay. Not a vasectomy.
Not a vasectomy. Yeah, we've dealt with that recently as well.
Right. Yeah.
No, yeah. So dealt with some wisdom teeth issues.
Brutal.
It was a little bit more complicated than just extraction, but
Yeah.
here we are.
You were explaining it to me pre-show.
Pre-show.
I've never heard of this type of
Yeah,
wisdom tooth procedure.
I believe it's called a coronectomy, if I recall correctly, which is basically more or less they just cut the tooth up a little bit before they extract sections of it. But with one of the most interesting moments of this entire ordeal, I will share with you in just a moment. Let me crack this bottle first, and then we'll get into it. That way we have something to sip on while we discuss the trauma that I experienced.
Yeah.
All right. So, Josh, Isaiah, welcome back, by the
Hello.
way.
Hey,
thanks,
fellas.
thanks for having us.
What's going on?
Good to
bro?
see you guys. What's up, Doovie?
Okay.
Fuck my guy.
Locked
guy.
and loaded. All right. Backbone bourbon, uncut, straight bourbon.
Oh, God,
Straight
that's the
to
name.
it. Bear.
Did you turn him back up?
No.
I don't really hear him.
Go ahead, Isaiah.
Can you hear me
check.
now?
No. Yeah, mic is really high. Is it a boom mic?
It's okay. Yeah.
Oh,
Talk.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
that'll
hear
be
me?
fine.
We're good?
All right.
There he
Yeah,
is.
that'll be good.
Wow.
All right.
Welcome back.
Backbone. Baby.
Backbone bourbon, uncut,
It
straight
says
bourbon
it's a
whiskey.
true uncut whiskey, one that's meant to be sipped and savored. The quality of this bourbon comes from its bold vigor and the purity of tasting a barrel-strength whiskey, where no water has been added to dilute the experience. The Backbone name is also a tribute to the strength of character found within the people of the Midwest
Okay. This
of
is
America.
some
Now,
middle
this-
America whiskey. All right.
Yeah, so this is
Okay.
not made in Kentucky, which is,
This ain't your hipster whiskey.
yeah,
This is
Indiana, Lawrenceburg. That's what it says, I believe. IN, Indiana, is that right?
That
okay,
is.
very good, perfect. So I tasted, they had a couple of these bottles at the spirit shop.
Today?
And they had one of their other bottles up for sampling. I tasted that. I'm not gonna lie, guys. It's a little assertive. It's a little aggressive.
It looks like something a cowboy would drink.
It has a high proof at 115.
Okay.
So this is a bold drink. It's gonna have a bold flavor.
I'm glad I ate
I brought down with us a little bit of
water to dilute it a little bit.
I think ice is
Smart.
probably the best solution, but we're gonna do water
Looks
just for
like
the sake of not having to
truth
deal with
serum.
ice.
That's what
He kind of does.
All right,
He's got his little tincture there.
now Josh, there's a glass above your head. To your right.
Oh, that is well above my head.
Thank you, sir.
You can reach that, can't you?
No,
So
I
close.
cannot.
You're like
It's all
an
right.
inch
That's all
off.
right.
Inch off.
Thanks, man.
All right,
No problem, bro.
Oh,
I
nice.
appreciate you.
it's a tight fit.
Fox Den glasses. Get your limited edition Fox Den glasses at badguysandbourbon.com.
All right.
We'll eventually get to it.
Maybe.
Maybe. But we'll take your money.
So back to the experience of trauma that I had. Now.
Oh, we didn't.
I did. It did not pop. It did not have a great sound to it. This is
why I
a
didn't.
very tight fitting
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah.
And it's also got like a little cutout in there.
Why would you do that?
I don't know.
That
I think
kind of
that
takes away from
it
the.
might take away from a little bit of the pop, but I did not get a
Yeah.
pop when I
Actually, never seen that.
So I'm going in. I got put under general anesthesia, knocked me out, right? Because it's a relatively invasive surgery. So that's great. Now, I've been under anesthesia a few times before in my life, but it's been a while. It's been a long time, to be completely honest. And whenever I get blood drawn, they're coming at me with the needles and things like that.
Yeah.
I get a little lightheaded.
Hey, you got to do the countdown.
A little less heavy breathing, but internally, that's how I feel. And
Heart
so
rate starts rising a little bit.
Yeah, so everything's, I'm there, I'm in the chair, everything's kind of, the nurses are doing their thing and doctors, putting his gloves on and all that bullshit. And they're, getting ready to stick me in the hand and do the whole thing. I let them know, I preface this with, hey, just as a heads up, I get a little lightheaded when these things.
When I see needles.
When I see needles. Or when they go into me, rather. It's not really when I just see them. But so great. No big deal. So they stick it in my hand. They're, doing that whole thing. Mm-hmm. And shortly thereafter, I'm getting lightheaded, guys. Like, it's happening. And they're like, all right, just lean back, relax in the chair, take some deep breaths. I close my eyes. I'm taking deep breaths. I'm out. Gone, dude. I pass out.
Before the anesthesia?
Yeah. I pass out. So check this out.
I didn't think that's where it was
I
going.
know. I was like, what?
I wake back up. I don't know how much longer it was, but I wake back up.
You fainted.
The doctor,
15 to 20
the
seconds.
doctor and the nurses are above me, all very stressed out. And they're looking at me and they go, you need to relax. We think you just had a stroke.
Oh my God.
And so I'm thinking,
maybe I did.
Okay, maybe I did. I don't know. These are doctors. I don't know. Maybe. And I'm feeling, for whatever reason, I'm feeling very, in this moment.
Refreshed?
I'm feeling very relaxed. Like I'm feeling like I don't know if it's the adrenaline or I don't know what it is. It's kind of like set in, but the stress that I was feeling up until the pass out was all gone, completely dissipated. Anyway, so they're like walking me through this stroke thing. They're asking me all these questions, trying to figure out if I, know who I am and where I'm at. Anyway,
What the current president is.
I answer all those questions.
You should have just acted like it was 2020.
I answer all those questions, get through it. Well, here's the deal. I'm here and I'm thinking, I know who I am. I know where I'm at. I only want to do this once. I don't want to come back.
Right, yeah. Like,
I don't
y'all
want to
think
get
something's wrong with you, now I
don't
gotta
want to
leave.
get rushed out of here and then go do, like, I'm here. Like, let's do this damn thing. So anyway, that was how I started that all off, more or less, my dental procedure.
So you
They
fainted.
did eventually get the thing in my arm, whatever it's called. I don't know. They got the anesthesia pumping in me. I felt great after that. But within like the span of like 60 seconds, I went from, this thing starting, getting my hand pricked to you've had a stroke. And then I'm waking back up and I'm looking at Emily because they've like wheeled me into another room or whatever. And I'm like, Emily, they told me I had a stroke. So I broke her brain.
You're funny, man.
Yeah, Emily was like super stoked because she had like her phone out and she was like, this is gonna be great. She was like, I'm gonna record Taylor
having a stroke.
Yeah. And then I was like, they told me I had a stroke. And then she just like broke down. She was like, oh my God. Like she thought like legitimately that I was gonna be a different person now.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
a nicer person.
And it might have been, I was going to say, it might have been a bed for the better. Who knows?
It's a mystery.
After what
We'll never know.
I've experienced with strokes over the past couple of months,
Yeah.
you do. I've learned a lot about them.
Yeah.
So when you say that and you understand that when it happens, the symptoms don't really take effect for like maybe up to like 3 days later. It can be kind of scary.
They didn't give me that pitch.
Oh, damn.
No, they felt pretty confident. I think after I was able to like respond with some reasonable answers, I think they felt as if I had not
Blood
had
pressure
a stroke.
was okay.
They came back in and I spoke with them later and they kind of had thought, well, you had like a mild seizure or something to that effect. And it could be related to, there's a certain type of like condition, and the name is slipping my mind right now, but there's a certain type of condition where apparently a lot of people have it, where when you're getting like blood drawn or you're getting, needles, that whole kind of deal.
Does this happen to you when you get tattoos?
You can get lightheaded and pass out.
That was my next question.
It's a no.
It's a different, like...
I've never passed out from a needle or from, getting tattooed or anything like that. And I've never passed out like that when being put under anesthesia in the past. So I don't know. Here we are. But anyway, that was kind of my chaotic entrance into the whole
already not wanting to do
scenario,
this.
yeah.
Then you faint. And then they tell you had a stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird series of events.
Well.
You know what I mean? So I don't think I've had a stroke. I'm pretty excited about that.
Did they recommend you see a neurologist?
They kind of set next steps for me. Like, hey, if you want to get to the bottom of why you did what you did, like these are, this is what you ultimately need to do. I'm high at the time. And my mouth is like my face is 3 times the size.
Yeah.
I've got ice packs all over me.
Yeah.
They're walking me through like diagnostic steps for my brain at the time. And I'm like, I don't
really care, honestly. But Yeah.
I just want to kind of go home. I don't want to do any of this.
Can I get
don't
some
want
ice
any of this
cream?
stuff.
They didn't pull Emily in for any of this.
No, Emily came in at the back end. So like she came in after everything was done. I think when I woke up and I reassured them in the moment to the best of my ability that I thought I was okay. And because again, in my head, I'm thinking, I don't want to go to another hospital or whatever right now. I'm not in a hospital. I'm a dentist officer or whatever the hell it is. But I was like, I don't want to do something. I don't want to go somewhere else. So I think I did a pretty good job of convincing him I was okay.
She definitely is, and it's
like,
wrapped. It's pulled so tight. You see how tight it is right there?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Wow.
Sorry, pup.
Anyway, here we
like pulling me under the
are.
table.
So I'm going to
But
do my
you
best.
survived. You
I survived.
survived.
I'm going to do my best. My mouth is still relatively sore and uncomfortable.
I can
but
see now in the light it is a little swollen on the right
Is it?
side. Just a little
This
bit.
side?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, it's not great. It should not be swollen at this point.
So you're going to taste
We're
it.
10 days out.
Are you going to taste it with the, you're going to taste it without the water and then with the water?
Sure. Yeah, good call. Yeah. All right.
All right, let's do it. Cheers.
Sure.
To
Cheers.
surviving your stroke.
It's a stroke.
Is that a new thing we're doing?
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when you survive, when you survive a stroke.
That's fair.
Absolutely.
Fair enough.
I had a dark joke about you going limp on your right side in the middle of the show, but I won't. I guess I already made it.
Here we are.
God rest.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a little bitey.
Yeah, it's gonna have that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's
My balls drop.
115 proof.
I'm a man
115
now.
So there's no tasting notes on the bottle. Just to kind of get back to the whiskey for 1 second.
Fire.
How many did you do?
I did 3. I feel like it's only that little dropper is only filling up like a quarter of the
I think
way.
it's like a hole in it or something.
All right. We've got 75%
And
corn,
so, anyway,
21% rye,
I was trying to get a little
4%
more.
malted barley, and the tasting notes from the website say fresh oak and vanilla fill the nose with a rich caramel and oak taste. This bourbon finishes very smoothly, especially given the proof, which feels decadent and warm.
well, it's definitely
definitely warm.
very decadent. All right,
It's definitely
Saturday
warm.
Night Live.
Shane McGillis.
You watched it.
I did.
I texted you about what's his name? 21 Savage.
Yes.
What's the deal with 21 Savage? Can someone talk to me about that?
Okay. 21 Savage.
Was I not wrong? Did anybody else watch Saturday Night Live? Did you watch
I
it?
did not
I haven't watched it yet.
Okay.
I enjoy 21 Savage's music because it allows me to tap into a side of the Black journey I probably will never go down. Right? Guns and
what
all
is
kinds
that?
of craziness that he's talking about.
Can I ask a question?
What's up?
Is it real?
That? Him?
Him. His experience.
I would
I don't know if it is. I'm asking.
So they did a documentary. What was it? In the Trap? What's it called? It was on
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, and they basically did like a day in the life of a lot of like Atlanta rappers.
Yeah.
And he was one of them. And this was when he kind of got
It's an
started.
American Dream.
That's the name of his album. This was a couple of years ago. And it was on Vice. And he's pretty legitimate.
Because it says this was from Billboard 3 weeks ago. He said that the biopic American Dream is a parody.
Oh, that was just a parody for the album,
Yeah.
his new
Got
album. So yeah, he's one of those.
So there's a little bit of credibility to some of the things
to
that he's
what
like,
he's actually rapping about.
claiming.
And he had like probably his debut mixtape was like one of the like top 10 like debuts for artists in like 2016. And that's when I got turned on to him. And I was just like, oh, that's, whatever it is. Now, you're speaking about the live performance aspect of it.
Yes.
That
He
is
seems
terrible.
very
That was-
unenthused.
So yeah, he's
Like, he
one
just,
of those.
you know-
Yeah.
He's one of those not really. I'm going to rap, but not do much else on stage.
I've seen this.
But he doesn't even, now maybe I'm wrong. You can define rap a variety of ways, I'm sure.
Excuse me.
But doesn't it feel a little bit more like he's just kind of
Just up there.
talking, like he's just
Yeah.
kind of up there? He's just kind of describing his day?
Yeah, that's kind of his style.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
He's not a very excited person.
No.
Like, I feel like
His
I
demeanor
could.
isn't very excited.
I feel like if I put that beat behind me and I was just like, I got up this morning, I got in
That's
my
him.
car. Like, that's
Yeah,
him. That's what he
that's
does.
his
That's
flow.
like literally,
Yeah.
that's
That's
it.
his
also
style.
his flow.
Yeah, that's the style.
So,
But that like
You did listen to the
that's
album with
his
him and
thing.
Drake, right?
yeah.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. No, I know. I just for whatever reason, I don't know.
That's
It caught me off guard when I saw him do the performances of Saturday Night Live. I was like,
Hearing
hearing
it
really
is
not,
one thing, and then seeing him kind of perform exactly how he rap. Because when you see like artists be performative about their music, they give a little more, right? And I'm also seeing a trend with rappers. I don't want to say they are expecting a certain type of interaction or atmosphere when they are performing for TV versus when they're doing a concert.
Yeah.
Just last week, Young Jeezy did a Tiny Desk, and it was. I think he was expecting the same thing. Like the music sounded okay, but I think they're trying to get what from the crowd that they get at these shows where people are going crazy for him.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily, you're not getting that back. You're here to kind of be performative.
So it's just not the
And,
best
like,
format.
Yeah,
for
it's
him.
not the format for that type
because
of.
even
yeah.
his 21 Savage's Grammys appearance on stage was talked about in a similar fashion that you were. It's like you have to do a little bit more, but
You got to do more. Like
But is that what his like live shows are? Like he's up there on stage just
nah.
and then everyone just going nuts in the
rap concerts, it's totally different atmosphere. They're I would, lack of for better words, they're at home, right? They can smoke their weed, they can have their drink, they can talk to the crowd, people are rapping back. They're basically not even performing because
Gotcha.
people are rapping the words.
Okay.
They're just up there having a good time.
Okay.
Versus when they have to perform, it looks stale,
Yeah.
for lack of a better words.
even like on the Jeezy Tiny Desk, he's in a room with a bunch of people who
Don't
are
really
familiar with
know,
him,
yeah,
but not as
the
familiar
music,
with
right.
his music. Because there was a staffer at NPR who had brought a bunch of Howard students up to the show. And these are all now
19, 20.
18 to
Yeah, they don't
20-year-olds who
have no clue. They know who Young Jeezy
they
is.
know who Young Jeezy is.
They're not
but
tapped into the
they
music.
don't know how this music resonated.
Got you.
You know, people, little white kids were getting suspended for wearing snowman t-shirts
Yeah.
when he came out. So that was 2004. So
Federal government's
now
cease and
he's
desist.
back. He's had kind of a resurgence in his career, and he's here to perform like those classics. And some of these people weren't even born when he was like at his height. So, just to your point of, the stale performance, I think these rappers who kind of, their music resonates in a different way. And when they can't perform it a certain way, it kind of takes away from the entire aesthetic of the show.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, like I really enjoy his music. I do not enjoy watching him perform.
Yeah.
I got multiple text messages about this is probably one of the worst performances.
It's just weird.
It's
just
just
seemed
very
weird. It just seemed
slow.
weird. Okay.
And yeah.
songs just
He didn't look comfortable. He just kind of looked. Even when what's her name, Summer Walker came out. That was her, right? And she's changed her face so many times. I didn't. She looked amazing this time though. And even when she came out, like when rappers usually do like duets with women, they're kind of like going back and forth. He just
girl
was like, it was just kind of like
because
I don't know if he got too drunk before. I don't know.
On the Grammys, his song was with Burna Boy and
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
and I forgot who the female artist is, but he just wasn't enthused.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
even if he was enthused, it certainly didn't look like it.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I agree with you. The performance was very, and my wife was like, "You enjoy this?" I was like, "I enjoy him. I don't enjoy this." But nonetheless, Red Rum is a great song. Red Rum.
No, I know the song.
21 is
Very
the worst
familiar.
live performer I've ever seen. You'd think a dude with his catalog of hits could make a set entertaining, but you would be wrong.
What is this quote
This is
from?
on Reddit.
Oh, okay.
The post on our rap is 21 Savage was garbage on SNL.
Damn.
Second comment, 21 Savage when it's not a feature and it's a gift that I can't explain.
It's but to his point, man, somebody with that catalog, right? Like since he came out in 2016, he's just been hit after hit after hit. He had an album with Drake last year. He just dropped his new album. And for the most part, this is probably his best album musically, like sonically. And you would think we were at like a talent show for like second graders. Like we were just kind of like.
And you know, with this last album, really, and just you get a good feel for the type of person that he is, because there's a lot of like R&B samples on that album.
Yeah,
it's pretty much.
Oh yeah. That's yep.
So you would think sampling these songs of people who are performers, not only just good vocalists.
Yeah,
you would think there'd be a little bit more to the performance.
Yeah, more
side,
to the show.
But
they also had a missed opportunity to put him into some sketches. That would have been great to kind of do like It's a Knife, skit. Have you ever seen that video of him, Josh? Can you look up It's a Knife video, 21 Savage? They had, it was a missed opportunity because when he did that interview, it went viral because he's never talked about having the knife tattoo. And the interviewer was like, what is it? It's a knife. And then the interview was like over. So it was, I think they missed an opportunity. They should have got him into some skits.
What is the cross on your forehead? It's a knife.
Yeah. So, but SNL as a whole on Saturday was probably one of my favorite episodes of this season so far. Really enjoyed the one 2 weeks ago. This season has been pretty great, but this one with Shane
Gillis
he was great. He was great. He basically started it with, if you know who I am, and you don't know who I am, don't Google me, which was great. And I thought he was very mild and appropriate and still funny for hosting. Like all of the skits were great. He opened up. He did a thing reminiscent to like Chappelle and I saw some people being kind of hypersensitive about the jokes where he didn't make fun. He was just talking about his niece who has Down syndrome and how they resemble. And everybody says like that his niece looks like him. And,
yeah.
And he's like, yeah, it almost got me. It nicked me a little bit. And I just thought that was just kind of good humor, making fun of yourself but then he goes on to talk about like how great his niece is. And I just was like, that's how you do the joke, right? And,
sure.
And that's kind of the same type of like Chappelle feel. And people are just online like, you don't, and I'm like, you just maybe heard an excerpt of that stand-up and then got sensitive because he said the words rather than just actually listening to the joke. And I see that's becoming a consistent thing, that people are just don't want you to joke about anything.
Yeah, Shane Gillis can be tough. Probably, to your point, similar in the Chappelle sense of, like, if you take his jokes out of context and you just kind of experience, like, just that one bit or something like that, and, I guess you can be sensitive to it. Or you could feel a certain way.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't really watch Saturday Night Live. This was the first one I had watched in, I don't know even how long. I'm just a big Shane Gillis fan, so I checked it out. But that's, that's how I texted you about 21 Savage. That's why you got there.
The reason I watch SNL is because...
but you're still actively watching it.
Oh, yeah.
When I watched this, everybody that was on there that they introed, like, as a part of the cast now...
Yeah.
No idea.
Crazy turnover lately. Because
they could all be in my yard tomorrow and I'd be like, who are any of you?
It's crazy. I think like Mickey Day is probably the most seasoned person. Him, Michael Che, and
Colin Jost.
And Colin Jost. Yeah. I was about to say Scarlett Johansson's husband because that's
those,
kind of what he goes by.
I know those guys. I know those guys. They've been around for a long time.
And Keenan. Yeah.
And I feel like they kind of stick
Colin
to
Jost,
that skit though.
Weekend Update.
Get way out of
who
that?
that is. Who else is on the show other than Michael Che? Mikey Day,
Ego Wodum. I know I just butchered that.
Heidi Gardner's still there. Chloe
Feynman. What's her name? Sarah Sherman. She's hilarious. She's probably one of my favorites right now, Sarah Sherman. When she goes on and she does the Weekend Update with Colin and makes him look like she makes him look like a bigot. He's not a bigot, but it's hilarious. So yeah. Their turnover has been pretty solid right now post COVID.
Yeah.
But like pre-COVID, like people were just like in and out. And right now,
All 5 of the featured players just joined within the last year.
Well, that would explain it.
Yeah.
That would explain my unfamiliarity
but-
with all of them.
I get my news from SNL. So I'll like watch SNL. I'll see what they're parodying, and then like on Monday, I'll like, all right,
Just
let me-
start throwing
Then
that
I'll
through to
get-
social
I
media.
get my news from
and then I'll go and see what they're parodying.
Man.
Like, okay, all right, that makes sense. Yeah,
All right.
I love it.
Talking
Weekend Update.
politics with you is interesting.
Yeah,
I
man.
bet.
I've never heard that before.
What?
I get my news from SNL.
I do really like Weekend Update. That's probably my
I've
favorite part
never-
of
Because they're making fun of current
No, I
news.
get
Like,
that.
you go
I
back.
get it.
I
Yeah.
understand. I just have never heard anyone pitch SNL to me as their like
a
go-to
news source.
source.
You
yeah,
also
for
got to
news.
understand.
Yeah.
I have a political science degree, so to hear somebody say, "I get my news from SNL,"
I mean, I get
triggers me.
news like every other regular person, but like they hit like hot topics.
No, I know.
And then
I know.
go check it out.
Hell
Whatever. Yeah.
Hot
Especially
topic.
when they open up with Trump and Biden.
That was
Yeah.
that was all good. I enjoyed
Air
that.
Trumps, baby.
Yeah. Air Trumps.
Air Trumps,
You gonna get a pair?
dude. You'd have to rock
I'll buy you a
it.
can of
you
spray
had-
paint.
If you had a pair, you'd have to wear them.
$400?
You'd have to wear them.
They're ugly. They are terrible.
Yeah, but it's not for the looks, dude.
It's not.
It's for the virality of it. Because
haven't seen anyone wear
here's-
them out
That's
yet.
my point, though. It's
Hey, are we
as-
sure talking about this isn't going to get us blackballed on
yeah.
YouTube?
Right.
As soon
Third
as you
episode in a
see
row.
a pair for the first time
In the wild,
it's gonna
yeah.
be like seeing a Cybertruck. You're gonna be like, it's true. You're gonna be like, oh my
Yeah.
god, there they are.
There they are. How do they
It's
fit?
like it's like the MAGA hat. You know what I mean?
He's had to get a
It's
new thing.
Yeah, I don't think the shoes are gonna be as iconic as the hat.
nah.
You really can't-
Because
Hat
the
is
hat
$10.
was
Yeah.
because one, the shoes they're troll,
Sure.
Yeah.
but they're also trying to make a point about a certain subset of a certain culture.
Of course, yeah.
The hat was really a calling card for his supporters.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny because I was at I took the wife to get crabs, and the guy at the bar, he had to be like 90, older white guy, had an ultra MAGA hat on. It said ultra MAGA. I was like,
Damn.
I was like, okay, dude, you got it. Like
Bold move, baby.
Like whatever you're going for, you got it. Ultra MAGA, like ultra.
Bold move.
This website is like Angel Fire.
Yeah.
Like
Now
this is the
Terrible
official
website.
website.
I've seen it. It's awful,
And this is
but
why, and like it's a troll because like
they're
bro,
sold out, and they sold out very quickly.
What? He's got runners. Oh,
They sold out very
is that a-
quickly.
They're selling perfume
Cologne?
on there
So
I
how do
need
you
the-
explain
I need the
that?
fragrance.
because there's only 1,000 of them. That's how I explain that.
I need the,
No, but
I
like
need
so,
the fragrance.
but 1,000 people bought them instantly
They're
Sure.
perfume.
for the virality of it. That's what
Sure,
I'm saying.
of course.
They're gonna wear them around.
Each pair numbered, at least 10 randomly autographed by Trump. According to the website, limit
If all
3
you're making
pairs
is
per
1,000,
transaction.
you should sign all of
I
them.
know what they are now. They're like Willy Wonka's golden ticket. And if you have one, you'll get pardoned for January 6th.
Okay, you're going real deep into this now.
No, but it would be
Billy
interesting. It
found
would be interesting if you got like front row at the rallies or something.
It's like the Chase Sapphire Lounge.
Yes.
Yes.
You roll up with the shoes and you do get VIP seating.
Presidential treatment. Yeah. You show up to the rally.
Presidential
Here's what
treat.
I'll say about it.
The MAGA group.
I find it very entertaining.
I think it's hilarious. I mean, of
and
course it is what it is. And it's
I
nothing-
hope he continues to release products. I think it's hilarious. I'm sorry.
It is. It is.
Trump sneakers and fragrances are intended for individual enjoyment and not as a collectible, and as a collectible, not for investment
What
purposes.
do they have the notes on the fragrances?
That's a good question.
What is it?
As a fragrance person, I need to know.
The
what
images
Trump
shown are for illustration purposes only and may not reflect exact representations of the product. That's the hover photo.
Trump on the phone.
I mean, it's a classic. Classic photo. Look at that. Making deals, dude. It kind of
Making
is
deals.
like,
fired.
it's like in a weird way, it feels like the like the opposite of almost like a Kanye or something, where like he kind of releases these products that just are like, what is this? Why? Why? But then it like sells out and it's gone. It's like
Victory.
Trump's taking a card out of that deck a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like the Kanye socks or whatever they're at. What are those things called?
Oh, the pods.
The pods.
Yeah.
Dude, the pods are insane. It's absurd. It's crazy.
It's a
But
hype beast
people are
thing,
buying
man.
them, yeah.
It's a hype beast thing.
I feel like he took that.
Let me read this
Took that
from the cologne. Victory is the signature scent of strength and success, encased in a luxurious gold bottle. This cologne, a part of President Trump's exclusive line, is for the decisive and the bold. A crisp opening of citrus blends into a cedar heart, underpinned by a rich base of leather and amber, crafting a commanding presence.
It sounds amazing.
I still don't know what it smells like.
Victory
I
is
can
more
tell
than
you
a
a few
fragrance.
things that
This
it smells
cologne
like.
is for the movers, the shakers, and the history makers. Crowned with a Trump collector's cap, splash on a bit of victory and own every room you step into.
See, like the problem is like a fragrance collector. I really want to smell it.
It probably smells like
What does a bottle go for?
$99. Free shipping if you spend $120.
So you gotta get some. You gotta get some of those
You gotta add some socks.
socks. Yeah.
Get you over the
Like
threshold.
backbone, please.
Now you have rewatched Dune.
I watched it with intent because I felt like I was disappointed.
Yeah. Disappointing me or was disappointing you?
I was disappointing us as a collective, the show.
So you sat
our
down, you
viewers.
spent some time with it. You seem to enjoy it. The reason I bring it up is because Dune 2 comes out.
That's
this
another
Friday.
reason I wanted to. And this time because I was very intent in my viewing
Yeah.
of the movie. I must say, it was like I was watching it for the first time. I don't know what I missed,
Yeah, I gotcha.
but it was a very different movie this
Well,
time.
you watched it in the background last time.
Yeah, this
That
time I
happens.
kind of like
I
sat.
didn't watch it the first time.
So yeah, I guess I didn't really watch it. I kind of had it on.
Yeah.
This time I did like the whole viewing experience. I watched it downstairs.
Yep.
You know, got the home pods now, so I'm like theater experience. Had lights low. And I watched the whole thing, and
Okay.
Zendaya is very misleading. Like she's barely in this movie.
Yes, that was kind of well known though,
That's what she said.
going into the release of the first one.
I had no clue.
Had you like tracked it all with it, they were very outspoken about that piece of it.
Yeah.
Because her character really isn't very relevant until the second movie.
Right.
So she plays like a substantial part. But you have to kind of like intro her a little bit in the first. She's just not, we're not quite there yet.
All right. Do me a favor.
Anything.
Talk to me about Dune as a Star Wars fan, because I'm feeling like there's some kind of like conceptual synergy as far as like some of the stuff in it. Like what do they call those daggers? What are they made out of?
It's a knife.
There it is, dude. Full circle. That's the episode. We're out.
All right, let's go. The knife that the maid presents to the queen, and then
I remember the
Timothy
knife. I can't remember the exact name of it.
Right, Timothy Chalamet ends up having it
Yeah.
when he joins the tribe, the Sand Tribe.
Chris Knife?
I can't remember. Chris Knife, yes. Because doesn't Zendaya have one as well? Did she have one, or am I mistaken?
I can't recall.
Somebody else had one because there were two. So I'm like, is this like their lightsaber type of thing?
I feel like she had one, but
And this voice thing that they do is like that.
yeah.
Is that like their force?
I don't know if it's a force so much, and I'm going to be honest. So the backstory and the lore on Dune is very extensive. There are many, many, many books. Many, many books. And so
Okay.
I will definitely be
Do you want this?
misspeaking if I go too far down that path of like whether it's like the force or not. I don't think it has the same implications.
Okay.
But
Is it a thing like only the royal family can do? Are they trained to do it?
So from this fandom article, it says that the Chris knife, the sharpness was unparalleled, and it was usually perceived to glow with a faint light. So that may all kind of be part of it. The the sound and the the appearance and
Another thing I was confused about, because I was like very like intense like watching this.
And apparently it's also made from the teeth of dead sandworms.
Oh, okay. That's what the significance of the sandworm.
it's also officially licensed on Amazon. You can have your own.
Get my own Chris name. The shields,
Not as rare as you think.
the body shields. I don't really understand the point of having it if somebody can still just run up and stab you while you have it on.
Good question. Maybe I don't know the mechanics of the body shields, but I'm wondering if they have more to do with does it prevent
is it more like a stopgap, like
light energy as
like
far as like the
tension?
weapons?
Yeah.
So like if I have a knife and I walk up and stab you, I can bypass that shield. But if I'm firing a weapon at you that is some form of like light energy based weapon, does that deflect it? Because it's a light based energy shield. That got really sounded way nerdier than it was, but I just
I was like,
I didn't know how else to describe it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like you can
No,
fight
no, no,
you can
I'm with
fight a
you,
lightsaber
yeah.
with a lightsaber kind of deal.
Yeah.
But if I don't have a lightsaber, like you can just cut me in half.
Right.
That kind of idea is what I'm wondering. Is what I'm
The
thinking.
shields are calibrated to permit passage of matter below given speeds. That's the answer.
So I'm on the right track, but not quite
Below
right
given
technology
speeds.
Right.
piece. But it would prevent what I'm talking about. Just
interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, any other questions that I can't answer for you?
Okay. So
I'm here to talk about general themes, not really the mechanics of the weaponry or shields.
It's actually funny. One quick thing there. Apparently, it is discussed, the specifications. So it allows matter to pass through up to about 9 centimeters per second speed.
okay.
It's fun that they've given that
I
detail.
am not surprised by that. Like I said, the books and the lore is very deep.
I'm gonna do some more research.
very
I saved
deep.
my questions until I saw
So-
you, and it's
and I've not read the books,
It's real
just to preface.
Games of Thronesy as far as like because that is it. Colin, who is playing the big guy, big kingpin looking guy?
Oh, that's a Skarsgård.
Right,
Isn't it?
He references Oscar Isaac as cousin. So are
Yeah.
they cousins?
I don't know. It's a great question.
When he captures him,
Yes,
and he's
they
got
might be
him-
related. Well, I don't know.
he says cousin. He said something. I've been in your shadow for years. Blah blah blah. Cousin.
You sure he says cousin?
Yeah, he says cousin. And I
Maybe
was
it's a
like,
family thing. Maybe they're all related. I mean, I know that they're like warring families, but maybe there's a consistently there's like a bloodline somewhere in there.
Yeah. I gotta read the books now because there's so many. I'm caught up in
it's a lot.
the small semantics
understanding.
of like why he's in that bath and just a whole lot of stuff. I'm now like in the Dune.
Yes.
Like
They're very, I feel like, in all fairness, I always felt like they were just like very cool elements, but I've never
Right.
really wanted to dive deeper into some of those things and get like the science behind all of it. But I'm sure it's out there in the books should you want to
I'm
dive.
definitely very, very,
dive
very
deeper.
much interested.
But you enjoyed it, and I think that's
yeah.
great. You gonna go to the movies to see this? You gonna go to the theater?
I think so. Because there's nothing else like really
It's true.
hitting the theaters.
I've been planning my viewing of it in the theaters. I've been looking at showtimes.
Okay.
I'm out of town. I'm gone. For
When's
like
it
the next
released?
week, so it comes out Friday.
Okay. Yeah, my
You
wife
could
is
actually see
watching
it
the right
tomorrow night
Oh,
if you
wow.
really wanted to.
Yeah, my wife is watching the first one over because she saw me watching it. And
Yeah.
she's like, well, the second one comes out. I'm like, all right, cool. So now I guess her and I will date night it up.
Get
and
out
go,
there
and go
and-
see it. Yeah.
Hit the town, man.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I guess my last take on it was
Fire away.
I did realize this the first time I was watching it, but then the second time, even like people like in the cosmetic, it's very, very high classed as far as the talent across the board. And then I see that they did that, but then they killed off a lot of them. So if you're gonna make a movie of kind of like that stature, load the cast up. It doesn't matter if they're coming back. Load it up. Let's get all eyes on it. Pay them whatever they want. Let's load this movie up because they're gonna die anyway.
Yeah, I think it has a little bit more to do with the director and the writing, the writer of the series. Dennis, I think it's
Villanueva?
That is correct.
Yeah.
I said it right.
I always have a hard time with his last name, but he's kind of like Christopher Nolan in the sense that he's reached this like upper echelon of filmmaker status.
Yeah.
And everybody wants to be in his movies. Like, it's just, if he calls, like, you're gonna go. So when you have somebody like that, you can stack your movies and load them with as much talent as you want. And you're probably not having to pay like crazy amounts for them, right? Because all of these people, like, they all want to be in that movie, right? So they're all going to take like modest pay. I would bet. I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that
notable.
They all were like, well, yeah, I will pay you to be in that movie. Like, whatever. Like, I'm down to be there.
Notable films. Was Sicario. Was I love that film.
Sicario.
Arrival, which was actually pretty good.
Prisoners.
Blade Runner 2049. And then Dune. I mean, those are like his like crown jewels. He got some other cult classics in here. Like you said, Prisoners, Enemy. There's Polytechnic, Maelstrom, August 32nd on Earth, which looks to be like one of his first bangers. So yeah, man, he's the guy, man. Like I would like looking at this, I expected him to have like something else, but I mean, you do Blade Runner and Sicario. I mean,
yeah,
you're the guy. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty two
impressive.
bangers.
Seems to be like an art house guy. Who's
Yeah. Like very kind of like cult classic, big budget.
Yeah,
He's
is
like a Christopher Nolan.
Found his way to the top.
Yeah, good for him, man.
Marvel's. It's been a while since that came out, but I watched.
You saw it? Did you enjoy it?
No.
Okay.
I enjoyed aspects of it.
You hate women.
It was.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, awful. No, I'm just kidding.
It's the tooth drugs, guys. He's not like this.
No.
Normally.
lack of food.
There are some scenes and there are some moments that are like, this is fun and this is good. And then there are other ones that I feel like really just dismantle the entire thing and make you want to stop watching.
Oh, like the singing planet?
So
I thought that was the worst
it's a
scene.
huge shame because I think What's-Her-Face is actually pretty good as Captain Marvel. Like I kind of, I enjoyed her in the first one. And I think she's fine. Like I find her compelling as a person or as like an actress, if you will. I do feel as if she kind of got the short end of the stick when it came to
the presentation of
the movies and the presentations. Like they either just they never really lined her up with the right director or writer. Like she just didn't get the good shit. You know what I mean? She got stuck with, it was like a good actress and a good character, but with just terrible foundation.
They had a great concept for this Marvel's film, and it was kind of, it was better than the first one, and the first one was supposed to be like a buddy cop with her and Nick Fury, reminiscent of like Lethal Weapon or whatever, naming any other buddy cop film. And then this one was they kind of leaned into that with like the trio thing, and I appreciate what it is and what it did. I thought it was fun and it didn't drag. I just kind of wish that there were bigger stakes for her character and the things that she's involving herself in.
Yeah.
Because we're potentially looking at the strongest person in the Marvel stratosphere as far as the MCU is concerned. So we're dealing with kind of really low risk things, and she's meant to be not likable in the comics. That she's written intentionally like that, but it looks like they're kind of deviating away in a sense from that, where okay, she's done some things in the past, and each movie she's trying to rectify that, but it just doesn't hit. Right, it just doesn't like give you the bullseye, to what you're saying. Like,
Is that because now
it's very goofy?
Is that because you know the source material and you know it well?
Well, I don't think so, because the source material for her is very entrenched into like that Kree stuff. Like in the first one, it was very much like Captain Marvel, like straight from the books. This was like, and they took three different characters who have some kind of bleeding over, but they made them very, very involved in this movie, which I mean, from a cultural standpoint, right? Like great things in it, right? Seeing them kind of trying to mesh their powers and doing like the double Dutch and then like all of that. I thought that was great. And I don't know, man. I just thought it was kind of like I think they were trying to go for like the female Deadpool kind of funny genre thing, but lighthearted. And it just didn't nail it. You know what I mean? It just didn't nail it home.
Because to my knowledge, and correct me if I'm wrong, just the character of Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers, her stakes are always high in the comics.
Yeah,
she lives up here.
Yeah, she's always just kind of involved in something that's very world ending. Like she's always, and this is just kind of, like the side story with the cats. It was kind of goofy. It just kind of got goofy along the way. The best thing about that movie was the post-credit scene with Beast.
That was
unexpected and fun and leads us into more mutants into the MCU. And I think people are ready for them to kind of stop tiptoeing with that. Like we got them now. You got the cartoon coming out next month. We've seen Professor X and Doctor Strange. Deadpool coming out in May is, officially like an MCU movie with, ties to Loki. And we saw somebody else. We saw another mutant somewhere else. So like, stop tiptoeing. Like let's get on with it. People are ready for the MCU as we know it has gotten stale, and we're ready for like what the next thing is. Like we're ready for the next. Let's move forward. Step in.
I just started getting into Loki season 2.
You did?
I finished season 1 when it was out.
Very different than season 1.
I am, I think, 2 or 3 episodes in.
Okay. It does the. It's not necessarily it's not a time jump, but each episode tells a story at a different time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not necessarily. It just kind of tells the story from a different perspective at a different time.
Yeah.
Which confused me at first because I was like, and then I was like, oh, okay, I see what we're watching.
Yeah.
So I thought it was enjoyable, but I just didn't nail it home for me because Loki is supposed to be fun, like a fun character.
Yeah.
And this was like very
serious.
It's very serious drama. And I was just like, very serious drama love story. And I was just kind of like.
It feels like the most well-made of the Marvel shows.
That though, yeah, that they got the budget. Yeah.
It seems like the writing is very solid.
Very intentional in everything they're doing.
Whether you like or dislike like the general tonality of like the characters, I'm just saying I think the writing is very good.
Yeah.
And the cinematography, the set design, like it just seems like there's way more finesse put into Loki than there was in a lot of other shows.
Oh yeah, it was very intentional. I think they knew that this was going to be like the franchise show. It wasn't. There was season 1. Yeah, had its moments where it was more fun and goofy, and it kind of stayed true to who Loki was. And then we get here. Now it's more of a Loki looking to be the hero versus being the anti-hero in season 1.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Have you done any Love is Blind?
I honestly forget.
Have you watched any Love is Blind?
No, I
really
forget
forgot
about
that
it.
it started.
It's
I forget
really
about
like
it when
dominating the internet right now.
I have seen.
It has been.
I've seen a portion of it.
It's just been
Totally
wrecking the internet.
It just doesn't hit my algorithm, so when I leave here, I literally forget. I forget about it.
Yeah, but you go on Netflix though.
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't get like Love is Blind.
That does make sense.
I don't like it.
It's
Doesn't.
like their number one show.
I don't either.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
generate
I don't see it either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
But
I don't know.
heavily into Masters of the Air right now.
Weird.
I'm 3/4 of
boys.
in. I didn't realize the first episode was so long. I enjoy it. I very much enjoy it. I've been trying to like watch this intentionally with like no like background. So like when I put it on, like I'm like eating and like watching it.
Yeah.
And I'm 3/4 through the first episode, which is a goddamn hour.
Yeah.
But
they're all
I'm on it.
They're
like
all
I
an
like
hour.
it.
I have not fully bought into Masters of the Air yet, and I'm 3 or 4 episodes in.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all the way caught up.
It's
I
one of
don't
those.
think I've seen the latest episode. I don't think I've seen it. I stand by my statements from the last episode that we did about this. Like, it just feels like it got into everything so quickly. I never got to know people in a way that I care about them anymore. I know like 2 or 3 people because they just get the most screen time.
Yeah.
But as far as like the people that are dying around them,
I don't know who to invest in.
it's hard to feel it's hard to feel for them, I guess. I say that
Ever
like
since you've made
psycho,
that point, I've harbored it in myself. And I think about it way more now when I watch the show. Even within the latest 2 episodes, I've purposely not watched the latest one. Mm-hmm. But on up to episode 5, yeah, even when people die, it's like, oh, only one death has made me sad.
Okay. It also kind of does this thing that I'm not sure who to invest in. Like, to your point, like, every scene, there's like 2 new people. And I'm like, well, like, when am I going to see this person again? Like,
and I feel like all of the sequences all feel I'm sure if I knew the history of it all like way better, and I'm sure there are people out there that do, I'm sure it's very accurate. Yeah. I'm sure it all makes sense and like lays out on a timeline somehow or some way. I just feel like every episode is like, it's like this mission, mm-hmm. And there's no like interconnectivity between any of them. So I don't really know where we're at in the war.
Right. Yeah.
I don't like, it's very hard for me, like just even timeline wise to understand at what points, where are we geographically? Like, how is this impacting things on a greater scale? Like a lot with Band of Brothers, it felt very like I was following these guys through it. And I felt like there was a little bit more clarity on just the A to B narrative of it all.
Yeah. It was like,
this is just very chaotic.
Because these shows are very well grounded in the reality of what happened.
Yeah.
I think that with Band of Brothers, for example, we followed them to their way through the end of the war.
Yes. Yeah.
And all of those things took place in order to get to episode 10 of Band of Brothers.
Okay.
Whereas Masters of the Air, all these things I'm assuming going to take place to get to episode 8 or however long this show runs. But in the way of Band of Brothers, we felt like, yes, it felt like it was never ending, even though on the timeline of the war, we knew that they were coming close to the end of the war.
Yeah.
Whereas with Masters of the Air,
I don't know what part of the war
we're stuck to
That's
feel.
what I'm saying.
Yeah. We're stuck to feel exactly how they feel.
They don't know.
They don't know what's happening.
That's a great way to look at it. They don't know what's happening.
Going from mission to mission, hoping to get to their
that's a great way to look
number
at it.
of missions to go back home.
Yeah, like when they it starts and we're just kind of in the war, and then they kind of get this guy to get all the guys together.
Yep.
They do the and then dude is sick, and then they're like, we're in France, and it's just like,
yes,
what? How?
Yeah.
Like, what is going on? So I get that. We don't really know like where we are, like geographically, time wise. We don't really know. It's just kind of just there. They're just kind of there and doing stuff in the air.
Yeah. 100%. And this might be just like, I don't know, the basic bitch in me or something, but I really wish there was like an episode or 2 where they did a little bit of instruction on just like teach me a little bit more about like the planes. Teach me a little bit more about why they fly in these
There's
patterns.
no threading.
Like why? Like I don't. You know what I mean? Because when you go through like some of the basic training in Band of Brothers, you kind of learn a little bit about like why they do things the way they do.
So when you see a person make a mistake,
you kind of
further on,
you kind of like
it.
Grow and learn with them a little bit. But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm just watching like well-seasoned like pilots
Everyone's
battling.
a great pilot. Yeah.
So like I don't know anything about the planes. I don't know why they fly in these like very like why are they flying in these various patterns? Why are they doing this? Why aren't they doing that? Like there would be the little educational pieces of like
to carry
it does slow the storytelling down a little bit to have somebody in there that's like you have to kind of like teach them, but a lot of times the reason why they're teaching them is so they can teach the audience, right? And so because there's none of that in this show, it's like I don't know. It's hard for me to care about various aspects of it that I think, in my opinion, it was a mistake. Like I think the planes and the technology and like I mean what they're doing is very interesting and very intricate, and I feel like that's part of what makes it so like daring or whatever. Like this is like a crazy thing that these people are all doing.
Yeah,
This show is, and I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
No,
go,
you're
go.
good, go.
This show is exactly what military pilots are. If you have ever met or know any of them,
Yeah.
they just expect you to know exactly what they do, how they do it, and how it gets
Yeah,
done.
a fly
But they
the plane,
don't
bro.
expect you to know how they
How
do
you
it.
do- yeah.
They're very cocky people.
Sure.
I mean,
So
you
the
shoot
show
guns out
is
of an airplane.
pretentious. The show is
You
pretentious
got it.
in that
Like, you
way.
got it, bro. Like,
It expects you to know. It expects you to have this back history on World War II. It expects you to know.
I think there's a piece of that
Yeah.
that just, I get it. I understand it. I wish it was maybe just instead of it being 8 episodes, make it 10 episodes.
And give us
And then
2 of some.
Give me 2 in the beginning that just help me
Set up.
set up a little bit more, just so I'm a little bit more invested.
there's not much setup.
Because
a
Yeah.
little bit more invested in just any aspect of it.
Because even if we take it back to Band of Brothers, the first 2 episodes of Band of Brothers, one of my favorite shows of all time, those first 2 episodes are just,
Maybe I should
easy
watch
company.
that instead of
they're
trying
just,
to fight through this massive
they're
Masters of
just
the Air.
easy company in training, preparing to go over to Europe.
Yes. Yeah. But
And
because you go through some of those things with them, those growing
Mm-hmm.
pains, you kind of feel there's like a deeper level of investment in the characters and you have a better understanding of what it was like to kind of go through that process a little bit of like what war was like for some of those guys,
Yeah.
like kind of getting dropped into this thing where you both don't know what's going on. Like the audience and the person in that situation are both like a little clueless.
Yeah.
But now I just feel like I'm watching people that already know what they're doing. And I'm like,
I'm just here.
I'm just here, dude.
I'm just
I don't-
waiting for your.
This took the spirit of the military aviator a bit too hard because those people expect.
I
you
think
to
that's
just
the
know.
Apple kind of shtick with their shows.
Yes.
Right? It's very much like you're not watching this if you're not hip to aviation. Right? This is for the aviator that was
Yeah.
in the Army. This is their show.
Yeah.
And if you don't know anything about that, sucks to be you, but we have a crowd, we have an audience for that. So
It does really see like they're
Sucks to
segmenting.
suck,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because for someone who knows enough about just general military history, I get the show. But because I don't know enough about aviation, military aviation history,
Yeah.
and just military aviation in general, I'm lost on.
I mean, and that's very layered. Like you gotta know aviation, you gotta know military, and then you gotta know like the atmosphere in which they're in, which is
Like you got to know the stakes.
freaking World War II. Like we, it's a lot to kind of wrap your head around with no prior knowledge.
All right, before we get out of here, let's talk about
Backbone,
Backbone
that's
Bourbon, baby.
Uncuts.
Uncut.
Oof.
Uncut.
It is not a
No vasectomies here.
Nope.
that is not a happy hour whiskey.
No.
No, sir.
No.
Very
you don't-
heavy.
You don't drink that on your lunch.
Why
break.
don't you talk to us about it?
It's a lot of bite
Did you feel like it smoothed out a little bit with the touch of
with the water.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
I think if
opened it
you
up.
did this on
Yeah.
ice, I think it would be
Yeah,
nice.
it would be great. It's probably a nice on
If
ice
you
drink.
got this with some ice, you let it sit for a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be really nice.
This is definitely like I wrangle cattle and my knuckles are bleeding and I'm at the bar. Like this isn't for me. Like my hands are soft. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like
Yeah, this isn't like it's not a fun bourbon.
this is not for your,
It's not a fun bourbon.
Nah, it's not.
No,
it's
this
not
is
for me.
definitely like it's a long day's work kind of
Yeah,
bourbon. You
hard
want to feel
work.
this bourbon. That's what this type of
you
bourbon
know,
is.
not to sound elitist or whatever, but when the yard guys come over, I'll give them some of this because you guys deserve a drink. This is for people who really deserve a drink. Like you worked hard. Here you go.
Here you go.
Here you go.
Have this.
I don't necessarily think I deserve that. That's a lot of drink right there.
Yeah. I don't disagree. I think it's fine. I don't know. I'd probably put this like middle of the road.
How much? What's the price point?
It was a $50 bottle,
Not bad.
which, honestly, for like a straight bourbon that's, a little bit off the beaten path, which is what this is. It's fine.
What is the proof? It's barrel proof, right?
Yeah, it's 115.6. So it's high. Like this is, you're gonna get drunk on this. Like you're gonna feel it for sure.
That's
it's going to
definitely-
take you a little bit of time to get through this. It's not like you and your boy are going to kill this in a night.
No.
Most likely.
No, we're all leaning. Just
Do not underestimate.
Yeah. So
what did I say in the chat earlier?
Borderline.
Borderline. Don't assault me.
I would rather see it probably in like the low 40s, mid 40s. That's probably like the best spot for it. I don't know. Because it's a little odd. 50s probably fine. Like I don't know how often you're going to come across it.
For 116, fifth, that hard? I guess. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's got great color. It's a hard bottle. It's not something I'd say.
I don't really like the label. That's not really important here at all. But just looking at it, it looks a little cartoony.
We care about labels here.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for
that
aesthetically.
looks like
It's a little too like welcome to the
okay.
Wild West.
Something Wile E. Coyote
It's
would
okay.
put on.
It's not great. It's okay.
Jonesy Wells shooting up the OK Corral.
Well, there it is. Backbone Bourbon,
Yeah, episode
episode 75.
75.
And
the bag.
yeah,
We did it. Welcome back.
we'll see you on the other side.